Hello everyone. For the purpose of this video, we will be analyzing Northeastern Hospital case. For Commerce 4OD3, we are group number 2, and for ease of marking, the name of the speaker has been posted at the left bottom corner of the slide. And now we will begin the analysis. First up, these are the team members of group number 2. From left-hand side, we have Zachary, Hussein, myself, Antonio, Jose Daniel, and Francisco Jesus. Again, these are the group members that you will hear present during this presentation.
Hi there, my name is Zack. I'm going to be providing an overview of Northeastern Hospital. So Northeastern Hospital is a large teaching hospital with complex operational needs, which does receive a high daily volume of waste and recycling. The implications of that for its supplier selection is that whatever supplier it goes with, it has to be one that's able to keep up with its capacity requirements. Northeastern Hospital has just stated strategic priorities of environmental sustainability. So any supplier that's able to have direct alignment with those priorities, optimally with a partnership, is definitely preferred and a benefit to its supplier selection. In terms of its context for its procurement, so it's had a 5-year partnership with Murray Brothers Disposal. This contract is now coming to an end, and it faces the decision of whether or not to renew its contract with Murray Brothers or seek out a new partner for its waste management services. Its key challenges that affect this decision is that whatever supplier it goes with, it has to balance its cost of the partnership versus the quality of service provided by the supplier. Optimally, its supplier, as previously stated, should align with the strategic and sustainability goals. So right off the bat, it should be addressed to Newton Waste Management Services, as its proposal for contracts should be eliminated. There essentially were no redeeming qualities for Newton Waste Management Services. Its price, yes, was the lowest, but its proposal completeness was very poor. It had no provided statements for proof of its financial stability. Its site visit impressions were not impressive whatsoever, and were described as concerning. It has no innovation or sustainability goals mentioned whatsoever, and ultimately it received considerably the lowest weighted score from the scoring matrix of 46.67%. Moving forward, a supplier profile can be created for Murray Brothers Disposal. So Murray Brothers Disposal is currently the incumbent contract with Northeastern Hospital, as it's previously had a 5-year contract that it's looking to renew. So its base price was essentially the benchmark. It was 25% lower, or above the lowest offering, which was Newton Waste Management Services, but as previously stated, that firm shouldn't be considered for a contract whatsoever. It had no mention of additional charges. Its site visit impressions were adequate. It was nothing impressive, but nothing that brought up major concerns. Its capacity to handle the contract was sufficient. Again, there was no reason to believe that it wouldn't be able to handle capacity. However, its formal operational systems were a point of serious concern. So there was no minimal evidence whatsoever of any form of maintenance, training, materials handling, with especially no mention of improvement plans towards these, demonstrating that the firm doesn't see these as a priority to its operations. A potential operational risk that's present is Murray Brothers Disposal is currently undergoing a construction project for its facility consolidations. An implication for that in terms of Northeastern, when considering them as a contract supplier, is that this construction project potentially may lead to delays in its ability to fulfill its contract needs, depending on how its construction project goes. There was no addressed potential for strategic partnership. Murray Brothers Disposal has no mentioned initiatives towards sustainability or environmental goals whatsoever, which was a serious concern towards it. So therefore, it had a quite poor alignment with Northeastern's strategic initiatives. Moving forward, a supplier profile can be created for universal waste management. So it should be addressed right off the bat that universal waste management's base price was the highest of all the proposals received, with a base price of 50% higher than Murray Brothers Disposal, with additional charges for compactor and trailer usage. However, its site visit impressions were exceptional. They were impressed Kathy quite a bit, and this is a major factor that put it in contention for serious consideration. Its capacity to handle Northeastern's needs is seen as clear excess capacity, so there were no concerns in that area. It did have structured formal operational systems of maintenance, training, and materials handling, as well as on-site maintenance. This was a major bonus towards it over considering Murray Brothers. Its potential operational risks, there were none identified with it. Its strategic partnership potential was a major factor in this decision. So Universal Waste Management has its own stated environmental and sustainability strategic initiatives, and it went so far as to create a proposal for a partnership in these initiatives with Northeastern. This is a major positive factor towards the consideration of a contract of universal waste management. Bringing it together, the two proposals from Murray Brothers Disposal and Universal Waste Management can be directly compared. So their financial stability, Murray Brothers Disposal, it's assumed that it's a stable company. There were no documents provided, but there were also no concerns through its previous 5-year tenureship with Northeastern that it would have issues. Universal Waste Management, however, is a verified Fortune 500 company, so there are no concerns of its future operations. As previously stated, the major factor against Universal Waste Management is its price. Murray Brothers Disposal is a cheaper option. However, Universal Waste Management impress and goes above and beyond in nearly every other way beyond that. And its alignment with Northeastern's own strategic initiatives are direct alignment, where Murray Brothers Disposal, it's in rather poor alignment with, like as previously mentioned, there were no mention of any initiatives towards environmental sustainability. Ultimately, a recommendation can be made for Universal Waste Management to be awarded the contract over Murray Brothers Disposal. It is important to note that Murray Brothers Disposal received a slightly higher weighted score than Universal Waste Management of 75.6% versus 70% for Universal Waste Management. Ultimately, this comes down to a decision between whether or not Northeastern was willing to prioritize pricing over a firm that is able to have a direct alignment with its strategic initiatives. These factors come together because Universal Waste Management does have a clear potential for partnership with direct alignment with Northeastern's own environmental strategic initiatives. It also had reduced operational risk concerns and far improved formal operational systems over Murray Brothers. This makes Universal Waste Management a better fit with Northeastern's priorities, and it should be considered more seriously. The decision ultimately comes down to a large weighting skew of 50% that's assigned to price. However, the weighting system is going to be further discussed in the next upcoming section.
Next is the Northeastern bid evaluation weighting system. So Section A includes best value based on pricing, rebate offered, no additional charges, financial stability of supplier, etc., and it weights 50%. Then Section B includes similar contracts, guarantee of services, references, ability to implement as per RFP, etc., and it weights 30%. Then Section C includes compliance with terms and conditions, submissions that are clear and easy to understand, other value-added services, certifications, etc., and it weighs 10%. And finally, we have Section D, which includes capacity to handle Northeastern's requirements, staff, equipment, overall appearance of site, location of site, etc., and it also weighs 10%. So this framework was very useful because it gave the sourcing team a consistent and objective way to compare suppliers based on current situation, contract requirement, and past issues. However, we identified some potential issues. This system places too much emphasis on price, with 50% of the total weight assigned to Section A. While cost is important, this may overlook other strategic factors like quality, service, delivery, risk management, legal compliance, and operational fit. In order to improve the bid evaluation system, the weight was redistributed. So Section A was reduced from 50% to 25% to maintain a significant weight for budget control while reducing its influence as the main evaluation metric. Section B remained the same, 30%, as reliability is one of the most important aspects to consider. Then Section C was increased from 10% to 30% since legal compliance is critical for waste management, and Section D was also increased from 10% to 15% as a site visit can help understand operational fit and medium to long-term compatibility with the objectives and needs of Northeastern Hospital. In addition, we could add a minimum threshold for each section to discard suppliers that perform very well in some sections but have a clear deficiency in other criteria.
Northeastern Hospital should negotiate with Universal Waste Management and Recycling to revise both its pricing and rebate structure, and this decision is strongly supported by the strategic sourcing process. From a strategic perspective, the UWM is the strongest supplier. They clearly outperform competitors in service quality, operational capability, and sustainability initiatives, which aligns closely with the hospital's long-term environmental goals. This is important because Northeastern isn't just looking for the lowest cost supplier, but rather the best overall value. However, the major issue is UWM cost. The proposal is about 50% higher than other suppliers, and the rebate structure is weak due to the very low commodity pricing. On top of that, they include additional charges for equipment, which further increases total cost. So while they are the best supplier in terms of quality, they are not competitive financially in their current state. This is where negotiation becomes critical. Northeastern is actually in strong position because there are competing bids. Morey Brothers offer a more balanced price and rebate structure, while Newton provides the lowest price. This alternative gives Northeastern leverage to push UWM for better terms. The negotiation should focus on three main areas: reducing base pricing, improving the rebate structure to reflect market rates or guarantee returns, and eliminating or bundling additional equipment fees. If needed, the hospital can also explore performance-based agreements to justify pricing. In conclusion, instead of rejecting UWM, Northeastern should treat them as the preferred supplier and negotiate to close the cost gap. This approach ensures the hospital achieves the best total value while maintaining high service quality and long-term strategic alignment.
Up next, we're going to address where universal waste management and recycling could improve. As we have shown and analyzed in this presentation so far, pricing is key. Universal waste management and recycling has the most expensive quote given. This is a key area for improvement. Next, negotiation with this firm is of utmost importance in order for them to improve their offer. Both Universal Waste Management and Recycling and Northeastern Hospital stand to gain if a partnership is indeed achieved.
A weighted point evaluation system isn't automatically the best way to pick suppliers, but it's one of the strongest methods when the decision is complex and price is only one part of the value. The benefit is that it forces the team to evaluate suppliers across multiple criteria, like service, compliance, risk, and long-term fit, so you're not trapped in a lowest bid mindset. The downside, however, is that the model can look objective even when it isn't, especially if the weights are chosen poorly. In the Northeastern Hospital case, pricing was weighted at 50%, while service and specification were 30% and other, plus the site visit were only 10% each. The weighting can push the outcome towards the cheapest option even when the higher performing supplier looks better operationally. So the best way to use this system is as decision support, then validate the results using judgment and quick sensitivity checks. This method is most appropriate when the purchase is strategic, high value, high risk, or service intensive. Basically, when supplier performance affects operation and the total cost of ownership. In those cases, using multiple weighted criteria makes the evaluation more realistic because you're measuring more than price. You're measuring reliability, compliance, service quality, and the supplier's ability to deliver over time. That fits the Northeastern Hospital situation well, because recycling and waste transfer services influence daily operations, environmental outcomes, and long-term reliability. Purchases like outsourced operational services, logistic contracts, IT solutions, capital equipment, and maintenance agreements are strong fits for a weighted model because the best supplier is usually the one with the best overall value, not just the lowest number. Weighted point systems are not ideal for routine, low risk, and highly standardized purchases. If the item is clearly specified and suppliers can meet the same standard, then a weighted model can be overkill. It adds effort without improving the decision. In those cases, methods like the lowest compliant bid or straightforward price comparisons are usually faster and just as effective. This system also becomes risky when scoring is overly subjective or when the team hasn't aligned on what matters most. If people disagree on the priorities or best value isn't clearly identified, the weights can distort the outcome instead of improving it. So for commodities and simple replenishment items, the weighted model often creates complexity without any meaningful benefit.
Northeastern Hospital should renew the contract for 3 years, as this option provides the best balance between flexibility, risk management, and long-term value within the strategic sourcing process. A 5-year contract will normally be ideal when there is a strong certainty around supplier performance, stable pricing, and low risk. However, in this case, there are still important uncertainties, especially if the hospital moves forward with universal waste management and recycling. While UWM is a high-quality supplier with strong capabilities and sustainability alignment, their pricing and rebate structure still needs to be negotiated and proven over time. Locking into a 5-year agreement too early could expose the hospital to higher costs if those financial improvements don't materialize. On the other hand, a 1-year contract will provide flexibility, but it will be too short-term. It will limit the hospital's ability to build a strategic partnership and reduce the supplier incentive to invest in improvements or offer better pricing. It will also increase administrative effort since the hospital will need to go through another sourcing process very soon. A 3-year contract is the most balanced option. It gives Northeastern enough time to build a strong working relationship with the supplier while still allowing for performance evaluation and pricing adjustments within a reasonable timeframe. It also creates an opportunity to include performance-based clauses and periodic reviews to ensure continuous value. In conclusion, a 3-year contract allows the hospital to reduce risk, maintain flexibility, and still benefit from a strategic supplier relationship, making it the most effective and practical choice.
Therefore, it is now time to present a final overview. First, our recommended supplier is indeed Universal Waste Management and Recycling, or short UWM. This is the case because the firm has superior performance in 3 of the 4 evaluation categories of interest for Northeastern Hospital. Also, UWM showcases strong operational capabilities, service quality, as well as sustainability alignment that are all key goals of Northeastern Hospital. Therefore, this is the final overview and our final recommendation for this presentation. We would now like to thank you for watching our analysis and presentation on Northeastern Hospital for Commerce for OD3. Thank you so much again, and we hope you learned something new about Northeastern Hospital and procurement in general.